Hey there, fellow knowledge seekers. Ever feel like there's some secret code to unlocking incredible opportunities around the world? Well, for many, that code is the IELTS exam. Imagine having the power to open doors to top universities, exciting career paths, and even a whole new life in an English-speaking country. That's the potential that mastering the IELTS can unlock for you. Today, we're diving deep into the world of IELTS. We're going to dissect its format, reveal its secrets, and give you the tools to conquer this globally recognized test. Think of it as your insider's guide to navigating the IELTS landscape and emerging victorious. And a huge shout out to London Heartbeats Academy in the UK for their incredible educational support. They offer over 150 popular courses to help you ace your exams. Be sure to explore their offerings and subscribe to their social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube for awesome free resources and updates. You won't want to miss their future discussions, trust me.
What's fascinating about the IELTS is that it goes beyond just proving your English proficiency. It's really about showcasing your ability to use the language effectively in real-life situations. Whether you're aiming for a university degree, professional registration, or even immigration, the IELTS can be your key to success.
That's a fantastic point. It's about demonstrating practical communication skills, not just textbook knowledge. So let's unpack exactly what the IELTS entails, starting with the different versions of the exam. Could you shed some light on those for our listener?
Absolutely. The IELTS comes in two main flavors, IELTS Academic and IELTS General Training. The key is understanding which one aligns with your specific goals.
So how does our listener figure out which version is their golden ticket?
It all boils down to their aspirations. The IELTS Academic is geared towards individuals who are setting their sights on higher education or professional registration in an English-speaking country. Think of it as your passport to universities and professional bodies.
Let me see if I've got this right. So if our listener is dreaming of studying medicine in the UK or engineering in Canada, they would need to conquer the academic version.
That's exactly right. Now, on the flip side, we have the IELTS General Training, which focuses more on practical, everyday English skills. It's typically required for those looking to migrate to an English-speaking country, gain work experience, or pursue secondary education.
Okay, so someone aiming for a skilled trade in Australia or a hospitality role in New Zealand would likely need the general training version to demonstrate their readiness for those work environments.
You nailed it. And here's a crucial tip, almost like a little secret weapon. Always double-check the specific IELTS requirements of the institution or organization you're targeting. You wouldn't want to prepare for the wrong test and miss out on your dream opportunity.
Absolutely. It's like showing up for a football game with a cricket bat. Not exactly the right tool for the job. Now let's dive into the structure of the IELTS. What specific skills are put under the microscope in this exam?
Both the academic and general training versions assess your English language prowess in four key areas: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. It's a comprehensive evaluation of your ability to navigate the English language across different modes of communication.
It sounds incredibly thorough. Let's break down each section one by one, starting with the listening section. What can our listener expect when they put on their headphones and face the audio challenge?
Imagine yourself in a variety of real-life situations where understanding spoken English is crucial. You might be listening to a casual conversation between two friends, a monologue about local amenities, or even a lecture on an academic subject.
So it's all about simulating the kind of listening experiences you'd encounter in an English-speaking environment.
Precisely. And to add another layer of complexity, you'll be hearing a kaleidoscope of English accents, from the crisp British accent to the laid-back Australian twang, the lively North American rhythm, and even the charming New Zealand lilt.
Wow, that does sound like a real test of listening agility. What are the examiners specifically listening for in this section?
They're looking for your ability to grasp the main ideas being conveyed, to extract specific details from the audio, and to understand the opinions and attitudes of the speakers. It's about demonstrating that you can follow the ebb and flow of conversations and accurately interpret the nuances of spoken language.
So active listening skills are absolutely paramount. It's not just about hearing the words, it's about truly understanding the message being conveyed. What about the reading section? How does this literary challenge differ between the academic and general training versions?
The IELTS academic reading test will immerse you in the world of academic texts. You'll be presented with longer, more intricate passages extracted from sources like books, journals, and research articles. Think scholarly articles and in-depth reports.
This is really testing your ability to handle the type of complex reading material you'd encounter in a university setting.
Exactly. You'll be asked questions that require you to decipher the main arguments presented, identify specific details hidden within the text, and even analyze the author's intentions and viewpoints.
That sounds like a real mental workout. Now, what about the general training reading test? What kind of textual terrain can our listener expect to navigate in this version?
The general training reading section takes a more pragmatic approach, focusing on texts you might encounter in everyday life and the workplace. Think notices, advertisements, company handbooks, and extracts from newspapers and magazines. It's about assessing your ability to comprehend and apply information from these everyday sources.
So it's less about dissecting complex theories and more about understanding practical information and instructions.
Precisely. The questions will test your ability to extract key information, decipher instructions, and grasp the overall meaning of the text. It's all about demonstrating your ability to function effectively in an English-speaking environment.
Okay, so we've explored the ins and outs of listening and reading, two crucial pillars of the IELTS exam. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite, writing. What are the key differences in the writing section between the two IELTS versions?
In both the academic and general training versions, you'll be tasked with completing two writing tasks. The first task is tailored to each version, while the second task is similar in both.
Interesting. Let's unravel the academic writing tasks first. What can our listener expect to encounter in this scholarly showdown?
In the first task of the academic writing section, you'll be presented with visual information, like a graph, chart, table, or diagram. It's your job to transform that visual data into a well-structured written report. You'll need to describe, summarize, or explain the information presented in the visual using your own words and demonstrating your analytical skills.
So it's not just about describing what you see. It's about interpreting the data, identifying trends, and drawing meaningful conclusions from the visual information.
Exactly. It's about showcasing your ability to analyze data, communicate it clearly in writing, and present a coherent and concise analysis of the information presented.
Now let's talk about the second task in the academic writing section.
All right.
What kind of writing prowess will our listener need to summon for this challenge?
The second task in the academic writing section is the essay. You'll be given a specific topic or issue to grapple with, and your mission is to present a well-structured and well-supported argument. You'll need to clearly articulate your stance, provide evidence and examples to back up your claims, and demonstrate your critical thinking skills.
It sounds like a true test of your ability to think critically, construct a persuasive argument, and express your ideas with clarity and precision in writing. It's all about showcasing your readiness for the demands of university-level writing.
You've hit the nail on the head. Now let's switch gears and explore the general training writing tasks. How do these differ from their academic counterparts?
I'm all ears.
The first task in the general training writing section takes on a more practical form, the letter. You'll be presented with a specific situation and asked to craft a letter that effectively addresses that situation. It could be a letter requesting information, explaining a problem, or even lodging a complaint.
So it's all about demonstrating your ability to communicate effectively in a more practical, everyday context, using the appropriate tone and style for the specific audience and purpose.
Precisely. The letter can be formal, semi-formal, or even personal, depending on the scenario. The key is to write clearly, concisely, and persuasively, demonstrating your command of the nuances of written communication.
And what about the second task in the general training writing section? Does it also involve venturing into the realm of essay writing?
Yes, the second task in the general training writing section is also an essay. However, the topics tend to be more general and relatable to everyday life, work, and social issues.
So it's still about crafting a well-structured argument, supporting your ideas with evidence, and demonstrating your critical thinking skills, but the context is a bit more grounded in everyday experiences.
Exactly. And while the writing style can be slightly more personal in the general training essay, it's still essential to maintain a clear and logical structure, using appropriate vocabulary and grammar to convey your message effectively.
Okay, we've tackled listening, reading, and writing 3 down, 1 to go. That leaves us with the speaking section, the face-to-face encounter that often sends shivers down the spines of even the most confident English speakers. What can our listener expect when they step into that room and face the IELTS examiner?
The speaking test is a one-on-one interview with a certified IELTS examiner designed to assess your spoken English skills in a real-time interaction.
I can imagine that it can be quite nerve-wracking for some people. Is there a specific format that this verbal duel follows?
The speaking test is strategically divided into three parts. In the first part, the examiner will engage you in a friendly conversation, asking general questions about yourself and familiar topics like your hobbies, interests, family, work, or daily routines. It's a chance to warm up, get comfortable with the examiner, and demonstrate your ability to talk about yourself in English.
So it's like a conversational warm-up to get the ball rolling and help you find your voice.
Exactly. The second part of the speaking test ramps up the challenge. You'll be given a card with a specific topic on it and given 1 minute to prepare a short talk on that topic. Think of it as your mini presentation moment. Then you'll have to deliver your talk for up to 2 minutes, showcasing your ability to organize your thoughts, express your ideas clearly, and speak fluently for an extended period.
Wow, that sounds like it requires some quick thinking and organizational skills on top of being able to articulate your thoughts clearly and confidently in English. What kind of topics might our listener encounter in this part of the test?
The topics are quite diverse and could range from describing a favorite place or a memorable event to discussing a particular issue or expressing your opinion on a thought-provoking subject. The key is to speak clearly, fluently, and coherently, using a good range of vocabulary and grammatical structures to convey your message effectively.
And what awaits our listener in the third and final part of the speaking test?
In the third part, the examiner will delve deeper into the topic you discussed in the second part, asking more in-depth questions to assess your ability to engage in a more complex and nuanced conversation. It's a chance to demonstrate your ability to think critically, express your opinions in a more detailed way, and explore different perspectives on the topic.
So it's like a conversational deep dive, challenging you to think critically, articulate your ideas clearly, and showcase your ability to engage in a stimulating exchange of ideas.
Precisely. The examiner is looking for your ability to think on your feet, use a wide range of vocabulary and grammatical structures, and express yourself clearly and effectively in a more sophisticated and nuanced way.
Okay, we've traversed the four domains of the IELTS: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Now, I know our listeners probably wondering how their performance in these challenges is translated into a score. What's the system that the IELTS uses to assess and rank test takers?
The IELTS utilizes a band score system to gauge your English language proficiency. Each of the four skills, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, is assigned an individual band score on a scale of 1 to 9, with 9 being the highest score, representing expert-level mastery.
So it's like a sliding scale of English ability, with each band representing a different level of proficiency.
That's right. And to provide a holistic view of your English skills, you also receive an overall band score, which is the average of your four individual scores. It's a comprehensive reflection of your overall English language competence.
Now, the million-dollar question: what's considered a good score on the IELTS? Is there a magic number that guarantees success?
That's where things get a bit nuanced. There's no one-size-fits-all answer to what constitutes a good score because it really hinges on the specific requirements of the institution, organization, or immigration authority you're targeting.
So it's not about chasing a universal benchmark, but rather understanding the specific score that will unlock the door to your particular goal.
Precisely. Some universities or professional organizations might demand a band score of 7 or higher, while others might have more lenient requirements. Similarly, different immigration categories and visa types might have different IELTS score thresholds. It's always best to do your homework and find out the exact score you need to hit before you embark on your IELTS preparation journey.
Great advice. It's like planning a road trip. You need to know your destination before you can chart your course. Now, I'm sure our listener is eager to know the secret formula for acing this beast of an exam. What tips and strategies would you recommend to help them conquer the IELTS and achieve their desired score?
The golden rule, the foundation upon which all IELTS success is built, is practice. The more you familiarize yourself with the exam format, the types of questions you'll encounter, and the strategies for tackling each section, the more confident and prepared you'll feel on test day.
So it's not just about cramming vocabulary lists or memorizing grammar rules. It's about developing a deep understanding of the exam itself and honing the skills needed to navigate its challenges effectively.
Exactly. Think of it as training for a marathon. You wouldn't just show up on race day without putting in the miles beforehand. The same principle applies to the IELTS. Consistent and targeted practice is the key to unlocking your full potential.
That's a great analogy. Are there any specific resources or strategies that our listener can use to make their practice sessions more effective and productive?
Absolutely. The world of IELTS preparation is teeming with resources. You can find practice tests, sample questions, and even full-length mock exams to simulate the real test experience. There are also a plethora of online courses, study guides, and tutoring services available to cater to different learning styles and preferences.
That's fantastic. So our listener has a wide array of tools at their disposal to tailor their preparation to their individual needs and learning style. Are there any other strategies you recommend to enhance their IELTS preparation journey?
One of the most powerful strategies, and often the most overlooked, is simply immersing yourself in the English language as much as possible. It's about going beyond the confines of textbooks and practice tests and embracing English as a living, breathing language.
So it's not just about studying the rules and structures of the language. It's about experiencing it, feeling its rhythm, and developing a natural fluency that extends beyond the exam room.
You've got it. Watch movies and TV shows in English, listen to podcasts and audiobooks, read English books and articles, and try to have conversations with native speakers whenever you can.
It's about creating an English-speaking world around yourself and allowing the language to seep into your daily life.
Exactly. The more you engage with English in a natural and enjoyable way, the more comfortable and confident you'll become, and the more readily you'll be able to apply your skills in the IELTS exam.
That's fantastic advice. It's not just about preparing for a test. It's about developing a genuine love and appreciation for the English language.
Speaking of love and appreciation for the English language, let's shift our focus to a particular application of the IELTS: immigration. As we mentioned earlier, the IELTS general training is often a requirement for those seeking to migrate to an English-speaking country.
That's right. It's a way for immigration authorities to ensure that potential newcomers have the language skills necessary to integrate into their new society, communicate effectively, and build a successful life in their adopted country.
Precisely. And the specific IELTS requirements can vary quite significantly depending on the country you're aiming for and the type of visa you're applying for.
So it's crucial for our listener to do their research and find out the exact IELTS requirements for their specific immigration goals. There's no room for assumptions or generalizations in this arena.
Absolutely. Let's take Australia as an example. The Australian government utilizes a points-based system for skilled migration, and English language proficiency is one of the factors that can earn you those coveted points.
Interesting. So a higher IELTS score could potentially boost your chances of being granted a visa to Australia. It's like adding another feather to your cap, making your application stand out from the crowd.
That's right. And the same principle applies to other popular immigration destinations like Canada, New Zealand, and the UK. Each country has its own unique set of immigration policies and IELTS requirements, so it's essential to delve into the details and ensure that you meet the specific criteria for your chosen destination.
So if our listener is harboring dreams of starting a new life in an English-speaking country, the IELTS could be the bridge that connects them to their aspirations.
Absolutely. It's often a crucial step in the immigration process, demonstrating your commitment to integrating into your new home and contributing to its society.
And beyond the realm of immigration, the IELTS also plays a significant role in professional registration. If our listener is aspiring to work as a doctor, nurse, engineer, or teacher in an English-speaking country, they might need to present a shining IELTS score as part of their professional registration process.
That's right. Many professional organizations and licensing bodies require concrete proof of English language proficiency to ensure that practitioners can communicate effectively and safely in their respective fields. And the IELTS is often the gold standard for demonstrating that proficiency.
So it's not just about academic pursuits. It's about opening doors to specific career paths and realizing your professional aspirations in an English-speaking context.
Precisely. And just like with immigration, the required IELTS score can fluctuate depending on the profession you're pursuing and the country where you're seeking registration. For instance, some medical boards might demand a very high band score to ensure that doctors can communicate effectively with patients and colleagues in high-pressure situations, while other professions might have more lenient requirements.
Wow, it's remarkable how this single exam can have such a profound impact on someone's life trajectory, shaping their academic journey, career prospects, and even their life in a new country.
It really is a testament to the power of language. English, as the lingua franca of the modern world, serves as a bridge that connects people across continents, cultures, and professions. And the IELTS, as a measure of English proficiency, plays a vital role in facilitating those connections and opening up a world of possibilities for individuals who aspire to learn, work, and live in English-speaking environments.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's not just about a test score. It's about unlocking potential, bridging divides and empowering individuals to pursue their dreams on a global stage.
Now, before we delve deeper into the specific strategies and techniques for conquering each section of the IELTS, I want to highlight the importance of preparing for this exam, even if you don't have a specific goal in mind at this very moment.
That's an interesting perspective. Why would someone invest time and effort in IELTS preparation if they're not immediately pursuing a specific academic program, job opportunity, or immigration pathway?
Because honing your English language skills is an investment in yourself, an investment that pays dividends across all areas of your life. Even if you're not actively pursuing a specific goal right now, preparing for the IELTS can still be incredibly valuable for your personal and professional development.
I see what you mean. It's about equipping yourself with a valuable tool that can open doors to unexpected opportunities in the future.
Exactly. The process of preparing for the IELTS will inevitably expand your vocabulary, refine your grammar, improve your pronunciation, and boost your overall fluency in English. And these are skills that can benefit you in countless ways, both personally and professionally, regardless of your specific career path or life goals.
Absolutely. Whether you're writing an email, delivering a presentation, networking with international colleagues, traveling the world, or simply engaging in conversations with people from diverse backgrounds, a strong command of English can boost your confidence, effectiveness, and ability to connect with others.
And beyond the practical benefits, learning a new language, especially a global language like English, can be incredibly enriching on a personal level. It can broaden your horizons, expose you to new cultures and perspectives, challenge your assumptions, and even change the way you think and perceive the world around you.
I love that. It's about more than just acquiring a skill. It's about embracing a journey of personal growth, expanding your intellectual and cultural horizons, and becoming a more well-rounded and adaptable individual.
Precisely. And the IELTS, while often viewed as a hurdle to overcome, can actually be a fantastic catalyst for embarking on that journey of language learning and personal transformation.
This has been such an illuminating conversation so far. We've covered a lot of ground, from the different versions of the IELTS to the structure of the exam, the specific skills assessed, and even the broader benefits of IELTS preparation. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this vast and fascinating world.
Absolutely. There's still so much to explore, so much to uncover, so many strategies to delve into.
Well, luckily for our listener, we have plenty of time to dive deeper into the IELTS ocean. Stay tuned for part 2 of our IELTS deep dive, where we'll be unveiling practical tips and techniques to help you conquer each section of the exam and emerge victorious.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the IELTS, where we're equipping you with the knowledge and strategies to conquer this global language exam. In the previous segment, we laid the foundation, exploring the structure of the IELTS and unpacking the challenges presented in each section: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Effective weapons in your IELTS arsenal is the power of exposure. Immerse yourself in a symphony of English accents. Don't limit yourself to just one or two variations of the language.
So it's about training your ears to decode the nuances of different accents, from the crisp British pronunciation to the melodic Irish lilt, the warm Canadian drawl, and everything in between.
Exactly. And thankfully, we live in a world where a kaleidoscope of English accents is readily available at our fingertips.
It's like having a global buffet of English language media right in our living rooms. So our listener can explore movies and TV shows from different English-speaking countries, tune into podcasts with diverse hosts and guests, and even immerse themselves in YouTube channels from various corners of the world.
Precisely. And while you're absorbing this diverse soundscape of English, try to shift your focus from deciphering every single word to understanding the overall message being conveyed.
So it's about training your brain to grasp the essence of the conversation, the main ideas, the speaker's intentions, even if a few unfamiliar words or phrases slip through the cracks.
Exactly. It's like piecing together a puzzle. You don't need to have every single piece to see the bigger picture. Now, in addition to expanding your exposure to different accents, another powerful tool for the listening section is the art of active listening.
I've heard that term before, but how does it apply specifically to the IELTS listening test?
Active listening is about engaging all your senses and focusing your attention on the speaker's words, tone of voice, and even their nonverbal cues. It's about being fully present in the moment and extracting as much information as possible from the audio.
So it's about going beyond just passively hearing the sounds and becoming an active participant in the listening process.
Exactly. Pay close attention to the speaker's tone of voice. Are they enthusiastic, hesitant, skeptical. Notice their inflection and emphasis. What words or phrases are they stressing? These subtle cues can reveal a wealth of information about the speaker's attitude and intentions.
It's like reading between the lines of spoken language, uncovering the hidden layers of meaning beneath the surface.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of context. Pay attention to the setting of the conversation, the relationship between the speakers, and the overall topic being discussed. These contextual clues can help you anticipate what the speakers might say next and fill in any gaps in your understanding.
It's like becoming a language detective, gathering evidence from the audio and using your deductive reasoning skills to piece together the complete picture.
Now let's shift gears and navigate our way to the reading section, a challenge that often tests not only your comprehension skills, but also your ability to manage time effectively.
It's like a race against the clock, where you need to absorb information quickly and efficiently. What strategies can our listener employ to read swiftly and accurately without getting bogged down in the sea of words?
One of the most valuable skills you can cultivate for the reading section is the art of skimming and scanning. These techniques allow you to extract the information you need without reading every single word.
Okay, I've heard those terms before, but could you explain them in more detail for our listener? What's the difference between skimming and scanning, and how can they be applied to the IELTS reading test?
Imagine you're exploring a vast library filled with countless books. Skimming is like taking a quick tour of the library, glancing at the covers and titles to get a general sense of the collection. You're not reading every book in detail, but you're getting a feel for the overall themes and topics.
So it's like taking a panoramic view of the text to understand its scope and purpose before diving into the specifics.
Exactly. Now, scanning is like having a specific book in mind and searching for it on the shelves. You're not browsing aimlessly, you have a clear target in mind, and you're using visual cues to locate it quickly and efficiently.
So skimming is about getting the big picture, while scanning is about zeroing in on specific details.
Precisely. And both skimming and scanning are essential skills for the IELTS reading section because they allow you to navigate the text strategically, extracting the information you need without wasting precious time. When you skim a passage, you're looking for the main ideas, the topic sentences, the keywords that reveal the essence of the text. When you scan, you're searching for specific information like dates, names, or keywords related to the questions.
It's like having a mental map of the text, knowing where to look for the treasure without getting lost in the wilderness of words.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of visual cues. Pay close attention to the headings, subheadings, and any visual aids like graphs, charts, or diagrams that are embedded in the text.
So it's about using the text structure and visual elements as signposts to guide your reading and help you quickly locate the information you need.
Precisely. These visual cues are like beacons, signaling the key points and helping you navigate the text more efficiently. And don't be afraid to underline or highlight key words or phrases as you read. This can help you focus your attention, create visual markers, and make it easier to recall information later when you're answering the questions.
It's like creating a personalized roadmap of the text, highlighting the key landmarks and pathways to guide your understanding. Now, let's turn our attention to the writing section, a challenge that often inspires a mixture of excitement and trepidation in test takers.
The writing section is where you get to showcase your ability to craft clear, coherent, and grammatically sound pieces of writing. It's your opportunity to demonstrate your mastery of the written word and impress the examiners with your writing prowess.
I can imagine that the essay writing task in particular can feel quite daunting. What advice would you give our listener to help them approach this challenge with confidence and craft a compelling and well-structured essay that will earn high marks?
The foundation of a well-crafted essay lies in the planning stage. Before you even put pen to paper, or rather fingers to keyboard, take a few moments to strategize, brainstorm, and organize your thoughts.
So it's not about diving headfirst into the writing process, it's about taking a step back, surveying the landscape, and charting your course before embarking on the writing journey.
Exactly. Start by carefully analyzing the essay question, dissecting it to understand its key components and the specific points you need to address. Then create a simple outline to structure your essay, like a blueprint for a building.
So it's about creating a skeletal framework to guide your writing and ensure that your essay flows logically from one point to the next.
Precisely. Think of your outline as the scaffolding that'll support your ideas and ensure that your essay is well organized and easy to follow. Now, when you're actually writing your essay, remember to vary your sentence structures and showcase a wide range of vocabulary.
So it's not just about writing grammatically correct sentences. It's about demonstrating your command of the language by using a variety of sentence patterns and incorporating a rich tapestry of vocabulary.
Exactly. Imagine your writing as a piece of music. If every sentence follows the same rhythm and melody, it becomes monotonous and predictable. But if you introduce variations in tempo, key, and instrumentation, the music becomes more engaging, dynamic, and captivating. The same principle applies to writing.
So it's about using language creatively and expressively to make your writing come alive.
Precisely. And remember to support your points with evidence and examples. Don't just make assertions, back them up with facts, statistics, anecdotes, or other forms of evidence that lend credibility to your claims.
So it's about transforming your opinions into well-supported arguments that are more likely to persuade the reader and earn you higher marks.
Exactly. Think of it as building a case in a courtroom. You wouldn't just stand up and make claims without presenting evidence to support those claims. The same principle applies to essay writing. You need to present a strong case backed up by evidence to convince the reader of the validity of your arguments.
And of course, before submitting your masterpiece, always take a few moments to proofread your work carefully, checking for any grammatical errors, spelling mistakes, or punctuation blunders.
Proofreading is like polishing a diamond. It's the final step that brings out the brilliance and sparkle of your writing.
Those are all incredibly valuable tips for crafting a stellar essay that will make the examiners nod in approval. Now let's face the music, so to speak, and tackle the speaking section, the face-to-face encounter that often evokes a mixture of anticipation and anxiety in test takers. What words of wisdom can you offer our listener to help them navigate this verbal labyrinth with confidence and grace?
The key to conquering the speaking test is to remember that it's not an interrogation, but rather a conversation. The examiner is not trying to trip you up or catch you out. They want to hear you speak naturally, fluently, and expressively in English. So relax, take a deep breath, and try to enjoy the interaction.
It's about shifting your mindset from viewing it as a test to seeing it as an opportunity to showcase your English skills and engage in a stimulating conversation.
Exactly. And just like with any conversation, it's important to be a good listener. Pay close attention to the examiner's questions, make sure you understand what's being asked, and tailor your responses accordingly.
So it's not just about delivering pre-prepared speeches or monologues. It's about being present in the moment, listening actively, and engaging in a genuine exchange of ideas.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to take a moment to gather your thoughts before responding to a question. If you're hit with a particularly challenging question, don't panic and blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. Instead, take a deep breath, use a filler phrase like, "That's an interesting question," or "Let me think about that for a moment," and use that time to formulate a thoughtful and coherent response.
It's like pressing the pause button on the conversation to give yourself a moment to collect your thoughts and craft a more polished and articulate response.
Exactly. And while you're speaking, try to maintain a steady and natural pace. Don't rush through your words as if you're reading from a script, but also don't speak so slowly that the conversation loses its momentum. Aim for a conversational flow that's both clear and engaging.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between speed and clarity, ensuring that your words are both understandable and engaging for the listener.
Precisely. And remember to use a variety of vocabulary and grammatical structures to showcase your range of language skills. Don't be afraid to use more sophisticated vocabulary, but only if you're confident in its meaning and usage. It's better to use simpler language accurately than to misuse complex vocabulary and create confusion.
It's like choosing the right tools for the job. Sometimes a simple hammer is all you need, but for more intricate tasks, you might need a more specialized tool.
Exactly. And just like in the writing section, don't be afraid to incorporate a variety of sentence structures into your spoken responses. Use a mix of simple, compound, and complex sentences to create a more engaging and dynamic flow of speech. And don't forget about intonation and stress. These elements can add emphasis and emotion to your speech, making it more interesting and engaging for the listener.
So it's about using your voice as an instrument, playing with tone, rhythm, and emphasis to create a more captivating and persuasive delivery.
Precisely. Now, before we move on to some common mistakes to avoid in the IELTS, I want to revisit the invaluable contributions of our educational partner for this episode, London Heartbeat's Z Academy. They've been instrumental in providing insights and expertise to help us demystify the IELTS.
Absolutely. Their dedication to empowering learners is truly commendable. For our listeners who are eager to explore the world of IELTS preparation, London Heartbeat Z Academy offers a treasure trove of resources and support.
They have over 150 popular courses designed to equip you with the knowledge and strategies to succeed on the IELTS and other English language exams. And their team of experienced instructors is passionate about guiding students towards their language goals.
And the best part is they're constantly updating their materials and adding new content to stay ahead of the curve. So be sure to check out their website and social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube for the latest updates and offerings.
And don't forget to subscribe to their channel so you don't miss out on any of their future discussions, insights, or special offers. They're a valuable resource for anyone who's serious about conquering the IELTS.
Now let's shift our focus to some common pitfalls that test takers often stumble upon during their IELTS journey. Identifying and understanding these mistakes can be incredibly valuable in helping you avoid them and pave the way for a smoother and more successful IELTS experience.
One of the biggest mistakes I often see is inadequate preparation. Many test takers underestimate the scope and depth of the IELTS and make the mistake of cramming for the exam at the last minute.
So it's not a test you can ace by pulling an all-nighter and hoping for the best.
Definitely not. The IELTS is a comprehensive assessment that demands a solid foundation in English language skills. It's essential to give yourself ample time to study, practice, and refine your skills across all 4 sections.
So it's about creating a realistic study plan, setting achievable goals, and consistently putting in the effort over a period of time rather than trying to cram everything in at the last minute.
Precisely. Think of it as building a house. You wouldn't try to construct the entire structure in a single day. You'd start with a solid foundation, then gradually build the walls, the roof, and all the intricate details one step at a time.
It's about breaking down the daunting task of IELTS preparation into smaller, more manageable steps and approaching it with a sense of patience and persistence.
Exactly. Another common mistake is focusing too much on memorizing vocabulary lists and grammar rules, treating the language as a set of static facts and formulas rather than a dynamic tool for communication.
So it's not just about rote learning, it's about understanding how to use the language effectively in different contexts, expressing your ideas clearly and engaging in meaningful conversations.
Precisely. While vocabulary and grammar are undoubtedly important building blocks of language, they're only part of the equation. The IELTS is designed to assess your ability to use English communicatively, which means you need to be able to apply your knowledge in real-world situations, adapt your language to different audiences and purposes, and engage in spontaneous and authentic interactions.
It's like learning to play a musical instrument. You can memorize all the notes and scales, but until you can actually play a melody, create a rhythm, and express yourself through the music, you haven't truly mastered the instrument.
That's a brilliant analogy. Now, another pitfall that test takers often fall into is neglecting to practice all 4 sections of the exam equally.
So it's not about just focusing on your strengths and hoping that your weaknesses will magically disappear.
Exactly. It's important to remember that all 4 sections contribute to your overall band score, so you need to be proficient in all areas to achieve your desired score. Host speaker. So it's not about just focusing on your strengths and hoping that your weaknesses will magically disappear.
Exactly. It's important to remember that all 4 sections contribute to your overall band score, so you need to be proficient in all areas to achieve your desired score.
So even if you're a whiz at reading and writing, you can't afford to neglect your listening and speaking skills. It's about creating a balanced and well-rounded skill set that will equip you to tackle all aspects of the IELTS exam. Precisely. And while it's natural to gravitate towards the skills you find easier or more enjoyable, it's essential to step outside your comfort zone and dedicate time and effort to improving your weaker areas.
It's about embracing the challenge and recognizing that growth often happens outside of our comfort zones. Now, I know that preparing for the IELTS can feel like a financial burden for some test takers. Are there ways for our listener to access valuable resources and support without breaking the bank?
Absolutely. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people not taking advantage of the wealth of free resources that are available.
So you're saying that our listener doesn't need to spend a fortune on expensive prep courses to succeed on the IELTS.
Exactly. There's a plethora of free practice tests, sample questions, study guides, and even online tutorials and forums where you can connect with other test takers and share tips and strategies.
It's like having a virtual study buddy, a community of learners who are all navigating the IELTS journey together.
Precisely. And don't forget about the invaluable resources offered by our educational partner for this episode, London Heartbeat's Z Academy.
Yes. They've been incredibly generous in sharing their knowledge and expertise to help our listeners demystify the IELTS.
They offer a range of free resources, including practice questions, sample essays, and expert tips on their website and social media channels. They also have a blog filled with insightful articles on various aspects of IELTS preparation.
And for those who are looking for more structured support, they offer a variety of affordable courses and tutoring services to cater to different learning styles and budgets.
Now, let's get back to our discussion of common IELTS pitfalls. Another mistake I often see is test takers neglecting to familiarize themselves thoroughly with the instructions and format of each section.
So it's not enough to just know the content. You also need to understand the specific rules of the game, the procedures, the expectations, and the time limits for each section.
Exactly. Imagine showing up for a football match without knowing the rules or the positions of the players. You'd be at a significant disadvantage. The same principle applies to the IELTS. Make sure you read the instructions carefully before each section, understand the types of questions you'll encounter, and practice answering questions within the allotted time frame.
So it's about approaching the IELTS as a strategic game, understanding the rules, mastering the techniques, and practicing your moves until you feel confident and prepared.
Precisely. And speaking of time management, that's another area where many test takers stumble. The IELTS is a time test, which means you need to be able to work efficiently and effectively under pressure.
Time management is a crucial skill for any exam, but it's especially important for the IELTS, where you're juggling multiple sections and tasks within a limited time frame.
Exactly. And it's not just about working quickly, it's about working strategically. Practice pacing yourself, allocating your time wisely, and making sure you have enough time to complete all sections of the exam.
So it's about becoming a master of time, orchestrating your efforts efficiently to ensure that you can demonstrate your skills fully within the constraints of the exam.
Precisely. And one final pitfall I want to highlight is the importance of proofreading your work carefully, especially in the writing section.
Ah, yes, the often dreaded but absolutely essential task of proofreading. It can be tempting to just rush through it, especially when you're feeling the pressure of time, but even small errors can add up and impact your score.
Exactly. Take a few minutes at the end of each writing task to review your work, looking for any grammatical errors, spelling mistakes, or punctuation blunders.
It's like giving your writing a final polish, ensuring that it shines brightly and reflects the best of your abilities.
Precisely. And remember, proofreading is not just about correcting errors, it's also about refining your writing style, improving clarity and flow, and ensuring that your message is conveyed effectively.
This has been such a helpful discussion on common IELTS pitfalls. I'm sure our listeners are feeling much more equipped to navigate the IELTS landscape and avoid those stumbling blocks.
I hope so. And remember, the key to success on the IELTS lies in a combination of factors: solid preparation, effective strategies, a positive mindset, and the willingness to learn from your mistakes and continuously improve.
Absolutely. And don't forget to tap into the wealth of resources available, both free and paid, to support you on your IELTS journey.
Now, let's delve a bit deeper into the specific skills that are assessed in each section of the IELTS. We've talked about the general format and some tips for success, but I think it's helpful to break down the individual skills that are being tested, like examining the individual ingredients that make up a delicious dish.
That's a great idea. I think understanding the specific skills being assessed can help our listener tailor their preparation and practice more effectively. Like a chef, refining their techniques to create a culinary masterpiece.
Exactly. So let's start with the listening section, the auditory challenge that tests your ability to decode spoken English in various contexts.
It's not just about recognizing individual words, but about understanding the message being conveyed, the speaker's intentions, and the nuances of spoken language.
Precisely. And to do that effectively, you need to develop a range of listening skills, like a musician training their ear to recognize different melodies and harmonies. For example, you need to be able to identify the main idea or topic of a conversation, lecture, or monologue.
So it's about being able to grasp the essence of what's being said, even if you don't understand every single word, like recognizing the main theme of a song, even if you don't know all the lyrics.
Exactly. And you also need to be able to follow the development of ideas and arguments. This means being able to identify the key points that are being made and understanding how they connect to each other, like following the plot of a movie and understanding how different scenes contribute to the overall story.
It's about being able to track the flow of conversation, and
Yeah.
and understand the logical progression of ideas, like tracing the path of a river from its source to its mouth.
Right. And in addition to understanding the main ideas, you also need to be able to pick out specific details and information. This might involve identifying facts, figures, dates, names, or specific instructions, like noticing the small details in a painting that contribute to its overall beauty and meaning.
So it's about being able to zero in on specific facts, figures, or pieces of information that are relevant to the questions being asked, like a detective searching for clues at a crime scene.
Exactly. And finally, you need to be able to understand the speaker's tone of voice, attitude, and opinions.
So it's about going beyond just the words themselves and picking up on the nuances of communication, like sarcasm, humor, skepticism, or enthusiasm, like
Yeah.
recognizing the different emotions conveyed through a piece of music.
Precisely. These are all essential skills for effective listening comprehension, and they're all assessed in the IELTS listening section. Think of it as a multifaceted skill set that equips you to navigate the complex world of spoken English.
That's a great breakdown of the listening skills that are being tested. It's like having a toolbox filled with different tools, each designed for a specific purpose. Now let's move on to the reading section, the literary challenge that assesses your ability to comprehend and analyze written English in various contexts.
The reading section is like embarking on a literary adventure, exploring different genres, styles, and topics, and extracting meaning from the written word. And just like in the listening section, there are a range of specific skills that are being tested.
Okay, so what are some of the key reading skills that our listener needs to develop to navigate this literary landscape with confidence and success?
One of the most fundamental skills is being able to identify the main idea or topic of a text. This is like recognizing the North Star that guides your reading and helps you understand the central theme or message being conveyed.
So it's about being able to quickly grasp the essence of a passage, the heart of the matter, the underlying purpose or argument that the author is trying to convey.
Exactly. It's like distilling the essence of a flower into a single drop of perfume. And once you've grasped the main idea, you need to be able to follow the development of ideas and arguments in the text. This is like tracing the branches of a tree, understanding how different ideas connect and relate to each other.
So it's about being able to track the flow of information, understand the logical progression of arguments, and see how different pieces of evidence or examples support the author's main point.
Right. And in addition to understanding the main ideas and the structure of the argument, you also need to be able to pick out specific details and information. This might involve identifying facts, figures, dates, definitions, or specific examples that the author uses to illustrate their points.
So it's about being able to locate and extract specific pieces of information from a text, like a miner sifting through rocks to find precious gems.
Exactly. You need to be able to read selectively, focusing on the details that are relevant to the questions being asked and ignoring the extraneous information.
It's like being a detective, searching for clues and piecing together the evidence to solve a case. And just like a detective needs to be able to distinguish between relevant and irrelevant clues, a skilled reader needs to be able to filter out the noise and focus on the information that matters.
And in addition to understanding the main ideas, following arguments, and extracting specific details, you also need to be able to understand the author's purpose or point of view.
So it's about going beyond the literal meaning of the words and understanding the author's intentions, their underlying message, their perspective on the topic they're writing about.
Exactly. It's like listening to a piece of music and not just hearing the notes, but understanding the emotion that the composer is trying to convey.
It's about stepping into the author's shoes, seeing the world through their eyes, and understanding the why behind their words.
Precisely. And finally, you need to be able to make inferences and draw conclusions from the information presented in the text. This is about going beyond the explicitly stated information and using your reasoning skills to understand the implied meanings, the hidden connections, the unspoken assumptions that underpin the text.
So it's about reading between the lines, connecting the dots,
Yeah.
and drawing logical conclusions based on the evidence presented in the text.
Exactly. It's like solving a puzzle where you have to use the pieces you're given to figure out the missing parts and complete the picture. These are all essential skills for effective reading comprehension, and they're all assessed in the IELTS reading section.
It's like having a mental toolkit filled with different reading strategies, each designed to unlock different layers of meaning and help you navigate the complexities of written English.
Now let's shift our focus to the writing section, the arena where you get to showcase your ability to craft well-structured, coherent, and grammatically sound pieces of writing.
It's your opportunity to demonstrate your command of the written word, your ability to express your ideas with clarity and precision, and your understanding of the nuances of English grammar and vocabulary.
Precisely. And just like in the reading section, there are two main tasks that you'll need to tackle in the writing section. A shorter task that involves summarizing, describing, or explaining visual information, and a longer task that involves writing an essay.
So it's about demonstrating your ability to communicate effectively in writing across different formats and purposes, from summarizing data to constructing persuasive arguments.
Exactly. And to excel in the writing section, you need to develop a range of writing skills, just like a master craftsman needs to possess a variety of tools and techniques to create a masterpiece.
It's about having the right tools for the job, the knowledge and skills, to craft a piece of writing that is both effective and engaging.
Precisely. For example, you need to be able to organize your ideas logically and structure your writing in a clear and coherent way.
So it's about creating a roadmap for the reader, guiding them through your thoughts in a way that is easy to follow and understand.
Exactly. It's like building a house. You wouldn't start constructing the roof before laying the foundation. Similarly, in writing, you need to start with a strong foundation. A clear thesis statement, logical organization, and smooth transitions between paragraphs.
Well, it's about creating a solid framework that will support your ideas and ensure that your writing flows smoothly from one point to the next.
Precisely. And once you've established a solid structure, you need to fill it in with compelling content, using a variety of grammatical structures and vocabulary to express yourself accurately and effectively.
So it's about demonstrating your command of the language, your ability to choose the right words and phrases to convey your message with precision and nuance.
Exactly. Think of it as painting a picture with words. You want to use a variety of colors, textures, and brushstrokes to create a vibrant and engaging image.
So it's about using language creatively, expressively, and even artistically to make your writing come alive and captivate the reader.
Precisely. And don't forget about the importance of supporting your ideas with evidence and examples.
So it's not enough to just state your opinions or make assertions. You need to back them up with facts, statistics, anecdotes, or other forms of evidence to make your writing more convincing and credible.
Exactly. Think of it as building a case in a courtroom. You wouldn't just stand up and make claims without presenting evidence to support those claims. The same principle applies to writing. You need to present a strong case, backed up by evidence, to convince the reader of the validity of your arguments.
And of course, just like in any writing task, proofreading is essential. Before submitting your work, take a few moments to review your writing carefully, checking for any grammatical errors, spelling mistakes, or punctuation blunders.
Proofreading is like polishing a diamond. It's the final step that brings out the brilliance and sparkle of your writing.
Those are all incredibly valuable tips for crafting a stellar essay that will make the examiners nod in approval. Now, let's face the music, so to speak, and tackle the speaking section. The face-to-face encounter that often evokes a mixture of anticipation and anxiety in test takers.
The speaking test is where you get to showcase your spoken English skills, your ability to communicate effectively in real time, and your confidence in expressing your ideas and opinions.
It's your chance to shine on the conversational stage, to demonstrate your fluency, your pronunciation, your vocabulary, and your ability to engage in a meaningful exchange of ideas.
Exactly. And to succeed in the speaking section, you need to develop a range of speaking skills, just like an actor needs to hone their voice, their body language, and their ability to embody different characters.
So it's about becoming a master of communication, a skilled orator who can captivate an audience and convey their message with clarity, confidence, and charisma.
Precisely. For example, you need to be able to speak fluently and coherently without too many hesitations or pauses.
So it's about having a smooth and natural flow of speech, like a river meandering through a lush landscape.
Exactly. You don't want your speech to be choppy or disjointed, like a car sputtering down the road. You want it to flow smoothly and effortlessly, carrying the listener along with you on your journey of ideas.
It's about finding that rhythm, that natural cadence of spoken English, and allowing your thoughts to flow freely and effortlessly from your mind to your tongue.
Precisely. And in addition to fluency, you also need to be able to use a wide range of vocabulary and grammatical structures accurately and appropriately.
So it's about demonstrating your command of the language, your ability to choose the right words and phrases to convey your meaning with precision and nuance.
Exactly. Think of it as having a vast vocabulary at your disposal, a rich palette of words and phrases that you can use to paint vivid pictures with your speech.
So it's about using language creatively, expressively, and even poetically to make your speech come alive and captivate the listener.
Precisely. And in addition to vocabulary and grammar, you also need to pay attention to your pronunciation and intonation.
So it's not just about saying the right words, it's about saying them correctly, with the right emphasis, the right rhythm, and the right tone of voice to convey your meaning effectively.
Exactly. Think of it as playing a musical instrument. You can have all the right notes, but if you don't play them with the right timing, the right dynamics, the right emotion, the music will fall flat.
It's about using your voice as an instrument, playing with tone, rhythm, and emphasis to create a more captivating and persuasive delivery.
Precisely. And in addition to fluency, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and intonation, you also need to be able to respond appropriately to questions and prompts from the examiner.
So it's not just about delivering pre-prepared speeches or monologues, it's about being present in the moment, listening actively, understanding the nuances of the questions being asked, and tailoring your responses accordingly.
Exactly. Think of it as a dance, where you need to be able to follow your partner's lead and respond to their movements gracefully and effortlessly.
So it's about finding that synergy, that harmonious flow between speaker and listener, where ideas are exchanged, perspectives are shared, and understanding is reached through the shared language of English.
You've captured it perfectly. The IELTS speaking test, at its core, is about demonstrating your ability to engage in a meaningful and authentic conversation, to express yourself clearly and effectively, and to connect with another human being through the power of language.
That's such a beautiful way to frame it. It's not just about a test, it's about communication, connection, and the shared human experience that transcends borders and cultures.
And that's what makes the IELTS so much more than just an exam. It's a gateway to a world of possibilities, a tool for personal and professional growth, and a testament to the incredible power of language to shape our lives and connect us to each other.
And on that inspiring note, we've reached the end of our IELTS deep dive. I hope our listener is feeling energized, empowered, and ready to embark on their own IELTS journey, armed with the knowledge, strategies, and inspiration we've shared today.
It's been an absolute pleasure sharing this journey with you and our listeners. Remember, the path to IELTS success is paved with preparation, practice, and a belief in your own abilities.
So to all our aspiring IELTS champions out there, we say this: embrace the challenge, trust in your potential, and never stop striving to reach new heights in your English language journey.
And remember, the world is waiting to hear your voice, to be inspired by your ideas, and to connect with you through the shared language of possibility.
Until next time, happy learning, and may your IELTS journey be filled with success and fulfillment.